Good evening and welcome to Left, Right and Centre. I'm Nidhi Razdan. Tonight, the Delhi police starts an awareness drive for the safety of women, but it gets off on the wrong note with posters advising girls to go straight home from college and learning self-defence. Will this drive and new measures such as more CCTVs and closing down bars by 1 a.m. make women safer in the national capital, or are the police priorities all wrong? Also tonight, the first rail fare hike in a decade as the opposition protests and demands a rollback. We ask if there was no choice and if the Congress's gamble will pay off. That's a little later in the show, but first, under pressure over lapses in policing and their inability to ensure the safety for women in the capital, the Delhi police have come up with a list of do's and don'ts for college girls. Many of these do's and don'ts actually do make a lot of sense, but there are some that have caught the attention of many young girls, particularly posters that have been put up outside colleges, suggesting, among other things, that young women should go straight home after college and join self-defense classes. Many have reacted angrily to that advice. There have also been mixed reactions to new measures announced by the government, such as shutting down pubs and discotheques by 1 o'clock in the morning.
Somewhat misguided attempt to try and make us feel safe, in the sense they give us some guidelines to abide by. We're all strong-headed women. We know how to behave. We know how to conduct ourselves.
Women are always told how they're supposed to behave, how the onus is on us, and every time we walk out of the house, our parents are afraid.
क्या करें, क्या ना करें. I think shouldn't a notice board be about how to tell men, or even if whoever it is, how they should control their instincts and not rape women who are walking on the road?
I'd like to see them put a sign outside a co-ed university or a school or a boys' school saying that respect women. When you see women in a public place, do not look at her in such a fashion.
We don't want to live in a society where you're afraid to walk on the streets at any time of the day.
All the clubs and all, that is our sort of fun. We don't go that often, but whenever we go, we don't want them to shut down at 1. That's not a safety measure at any cost.
Night patrolling will be done by the officers. One will go to the right direction and the second will come from the left direction. They will meet at the center point and they will report each other what is there any incident.
At the end of the day, I don't even know if they will be implemented and if anyone will check them.
So I'm hopeful with all these reforms, but I'm not sure how far they'll work.
We're not doing anything wrong. They're the ones who are.
Well, speaking on a special edition of the Buck Stops Here, Delhi's Chief Minister Sheila Dikshit has slammed the police advisory for young girls, saying she doesn't agree with it at all.
This is the poster that's been put up by the Delhi police. I'm sure it's well-intentioned outside girls' colleges. Now, I'm going to just share with you some of the things in this. The Delhi police do's and don'ts for college and school girls. Inculcate self-confidence, no problem. Go straight home after school or college. Even my grandmother didn't say that to me. Go straight home after school or college. Call 100 if there's any person you suspect. If you're going home somewhere else after school or college, inform your home. Join self-defense courses. Keep your address and contact number on a chit in your bag. Keep number of van driver and van number with you. Also inform your family. Okay, well-intentioned. Go straight home after school or college. Why? 18 is my age to not go home. Do you agree with this advisory?
I don't. I don't agree with any advisories given by anybody. What I do believe in is yourself. You should have the confidence that I'm going out at 12 at night or 12 at noon, I am going to be safe and sound.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. That's the confidence we should instill in you, and that's the care that we should instill in all the boys. That if you see a girl in distress, or anybody in distress, an old person, a young person, anybody, just lend a helping hand. That applies to all of us. And that is why I raked up the issue that people are afraid of going to a thana.
Police station.
So will the police's steps make women feel safer, or is there a lot more that needs to be done? Joining us on the program tonight is Tajender Luthra, the Additional Commissioner of Police in Delhi. We have Mr. Arun Bhagat, the former Commissioner of Police in Delhi, the former head of the IB as well. Kavita Krishnan, the Secretary of the All India Progressive Women's Association, is with us tonight. So is Ranjana Kumari, the Director for Centre for Social Research, and writer Rakshanda Jalil joins us as well. Mr. Luthra, let me ask you first, because I was actually looking at various aspects of this awareness drive, and I thought that many of the points that you raised are actually very well intentioned. Keep your locks on your chains, on your doors. A lot of people don't do those very basic things. Tell other people if someone is misbehaving with you and so on. But then there are these kind of things such as telling girls to go home straight after college that kind of rankle, because we should be allowed to feel safe in the city. We don't have to go home after college. You know what I mean?
On behalf of Delhi Police, I would like to clarify that we do not subscribe to these boards or posters, what you are talking about, and we do not subscribe to the contents of these posters. We do not believe in issuing gender-specific guidelines.
But it's been done by the Southeast District?
No. In fact, I'm not aware of it, and I have talked to my headquarters, I have talked to my seniors, and we want to clarify that we do not believe in issuing any kinds of guidelines, security advisory, which is gender specific. We believe woman is a free spirit, she is a free voice, she is a free mind, and she is the best decision maker about her own safety. So then the officer in charge of the Southeast
District has gone against what you believe in. Is this being taken up? Because this has been done by the Southeast District Police.
Right now I can't say anything about this, because you just told me about it, and I have issued a clarification on behalf of my organization with due sense of responsibility.
But these are police posters, like I said, put up by the Southeast District. I mean, I'm really actually surprised that the headquarters doesn't know that these posters existed.
I don't know where is.
To me, that's actually a bigger worry.
No, but I can again clarify that we do not.
The headquarters does not.
No, we do not subscribe to issuing any kinds of gender-specific security advisory.
Well, that is what has been done by the Southeast District. That has been verified by more than one reporter tonight. It's there, the posters are there, the Delhi Police website address is on them. Let me get first reactions from the panel on that. Ranjana Kumari, when you look at these posters, the headquarters is distancing themselves from it. What do you think of these do's and don'ts?
While Delhi Police sorted out its confusion, who has done it, I think we should advise them on behalf of the girls and women of India that please withdraw all of them. Even if you are not responsible as the police commissioner's office, or one single office has done that, because every every citizen is supposed to be provided security.
Of course.
You are not supposed to tell the girls that what time they must go. In a way you are putting the onus of protecting themselves and responsibility of getting raped on them only.
Not at
so
all.
I think this is the message, and this message has to be immediately withdrawn, and no girl should be told what they must do to protect themselves.
Ranjana
Instead,
ji,
please,
the question of withdrawing comes when we have issued something. We have not issued something like this.
But then what is the discussion all about then? If you have not
it has been issued by the Southeast District. It clearly shows that one wing of the police does not know. I mean, the headquarters does not know what's going on.
No, it's not
if
about
you do not
knowing or
know
not
who
knowing.
has done it, Mr. Luthra, then
and
certainly
there
is call for a bigger inquiry into such a thing, that if somebody is playing mischief in the name of police, then
it's been done by the police. We stand by our story. It's been done by the police.
See, it's not, what I'm saying is, this is not an aberration. It's not suddenly happened. Okay, you have had, I remember that press conference by B.K. Gupta when he was Delhi Police Commissioner not long ago, in which he said that a woman who goes out at 2 in the night had better take her brother or her driver with her, else she should not ask for safety. She should not complain that she was unsafe. She shouldn't come running to the police. He said this in a press conference. You have had an advisory issued by Delhi Police, a booklet issued for students from the Northeast, saying that if you wear clothes, you should dress in a... It was issued. It was issued. Please, I downloaded it from the Delhi Police website. I downloaded it from the Delhi Police website in a PDF format. I did. This was some years ago, but it was issued, and it clearly said that you should not dress, Northeast girls should not dress in a particular way. Think of what your parents will think of how you dress in a particular way in order to keep safe. It said this very clearly.
Let me add something to what you have said. As a part of our community policing, we have a program for Northeast students. We call it Samanvay, and we have a Facebook page also, and we have deployed an officer of the rank of Joint Commissioner of Police who himself is from Northeast as a coordinator. So there is no question of any communication.
Have you looked at that booklet? I can show you a copy of it.
Of a mindset issue with the police. I think that's what you're talking about.
Yes,
That's
what
these posters.
the whole issue is that what is the mindset? The issue is about what are you thinking the girls must do and must not do, and what are you thinking about what the men should do and must not do. So I think this kind of a prescriptive things about, you know, putting boundaries around the girls, that they must finish the college, go home, this is the age. Should they not go to market, cinema, whatever, work, sports, whatever.
With you, we have no business to issue any gender specific guidelines.
Which is why I'm saying you should have an inquiry into why the Southeast District did this. I go on record again and say we stand by that story. Rakshana, what your first thoughts on this?
I'm actually more worried listening to this than I was before I came to your show, because this is truly frightening that the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. Is this a house divided? Is this what we are talking about on national television? That we clearly have evidence that this guideline has been issued, and yet some people within the police force don't seem to know about it. That, to my mind, is extremely worrying. The wording of the guidelines are bad enough, but this ignorance is more frightening to me.
No, but you know, is it all bad? Let me ask Mr. Bhagat, is it all bad? Because, you know, I saw some of the things that have actually been said. You know, stay away from dark, abandoned bus stops. If someone is stalking you, try to take a different route to wherever you're going. You know, that doesn't sound that irrational to me either. You know, some of the advice that's given. Again, I think
get into a bus if there aren't enough people in it.
But is the Delhi police
how many bus stops? No, I'm just trying to be the devil's advocate here, and that are we, you know, taking a maybe a well-intentioned thing that an officer thought should be put out, and
it says don't get into a bus when there aren't enough people in it, which means that you're blaming that girl for what happened to her. It says that the inventory says specifically if the bus doesn't have enough people in it, don't get into it. Which means what in this particular case?
Very obviously it was an initiative which was taken and which was not very appropriate. I mean, that is very clear. But the intentions cannot be doubted, you see, because he has, whatever he or she, whoever the officers were, they probably thought that some guidelines need to be issued. But as Luthra here has said, that gender-specific guidelines, they are not, they have decided not to issue. So let us not make a big issue out of it. They will withdraw it, I'm sure.
I completely disagree.
The issue which you have raised is very important, which is about the mindset. And I think that is a fundamental area which we need to pay attention to, as to how to change it. Today there was a news report about Karnataka taking some initiatives, and I believe some benefits have accrued from that.
I think
similarly,
it's totally unacceptable, because from the 16th December onwards, every politician, religious leader, police, everybody in the society, parliament members, everybody is issuing prescription to women what to do and what not to do, what to wear, where to be.
Well, they have decided already, so what are we arguing about?
What kind of society are we living in? What kind of society are we living in?
You know, this is not just the police. I'm saying that I've had college girls come and tell me, Delhi University college girls come and tell me, their hostels have now changed the regulations and now they have to ask permission for a late pass, and they may be denied permission if the wardens don't like who they're going out with or where they're going. Now I'm saying you cannot you have to have an understanding that you cannot have any discriminatory rules for women, no matter who is the authority doing it. Look, parents doing it at home is one thing you can't have a regulation for, but you can have regulations for educational institutions, for the police, for public authorities, for people in public office. You just cannot have an idea that women's freedoms can be restricted.
Let me get Renuka Chaudhary, who's the national spokesperson of the Congress, a woman MP herself. Renuka Chaudhary, would you distance yourself completely from any gender-specific guidelines, or do you think that these advisories are in a sense practical in the times that we live in? Where do you stand on this?
Nidhi, I think we need to back off from the picture so in your face and look at it rationally. I think there is a huge knee-jerk reaction that's happening all over the country. Now, if we are in a vulnerable space I mean, as parents, we will tell our children that, listen, be careful, don't go in the dark. If there's not many people on the bus, for God's sake, don't get onto it. We do rationalize. Yes, there is a need for public speak where we can orient the thought process as the police are trying and others are trying. We have to be able to focus it to a different way. But yes, it has been the challenge that the onus of responsibility of women's safety has always been put onto the women themselves. But if hostels are saying that take a late pass, and it's an administrative need for them to track so that if a girl doesn't return by time, you start looking for the girl. They have a late pass.
They're being told that we can deny you the pass if we don't like who you're going out with.
Boys and girls were living in the same hostel.
You're saying be practical. Renuka Chaudhary is saying, you're saying we have to be practical. These are the times we live in. We have to be rational about
denying the late pass. Get what I'm trying to say.
No, you need checks and balances. You need checks and balances. I don't think it's right to rubbish everything that the police does. And you can't doubt the intention that they're trying to have an administrative framework within which they can have a collaboration with civil society to help keep this place safe, because it's not just the responsibility of the government or the police. Even as a society, we have to be proactive to take certain measures. This is the Lakshman Rekha policy. Now, I'm not saying that what they say is right, whether what the Lakshman Rekha policy.
Tell me something. I mean, wouldn't you tell your daughter be careful? I'm just saying,
I'm saying,
as a parent, it's okay.
No, I'm saying, let's look at this rationally. I'm saying, look, we all tell ourselves to be careful. The whole point is that how can someone in public authority go beyond that and say that you should not do this? As a measure, you're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to go out late at night. You're not allowed to dress in a particular way or whatever. You know, you're not allowed to do certain things.
Do about where to go, what to do, what not to go. Family trains it. In any case, girls are restricted. In any case, you make 10 phone calls before she's back home. In any case, you tell her not to stay out in the night. So many restrictions already. But this is about responsible authority which is supposed to enforce law and order, which is supposed to provide security to the citizen, every citizen, irrespective of girl and boy. They drawing the line. They saying do's and don'ts.
I just want to tell Mr. Luthra about something that happened last night with a colleague of mine who works on the program with me. A lot of us have to work late in the media, sometimes till midnight, 1 in the morning. She was driving home. There were a number of police checkposts, towards South, in one South Delhi locality. She was stopped 3-4 times and she was asked, where are you going? Where have you come from? Why are you out this late? She was actually asked, those questions. So, she said to me today, she said, this is bizarre. I mean, why are you asking me where I'm going? While I understand that the Delhi police is sort of cornered right now on the issue of women's safety, are we going to the other extreme now? I mean, does the police have any business asking a woman, even if she's driving alone at midnight, where she's going, why she's out that late,
I don't know what was the context of that question, but I think the intention would be to help the women.
Oh, really?
But why are you asking?
That's very interesting. I'm saying, does she not have an unrestricted right to public spaces?
Kavita-ji,
let him
let's not be sarcastic. Let's not doubt each other's intention. Women's
you
safety
keep asking
is a
her why she's
collaborative
out
effort.
there. What is, how is it helpful?
When did I say that? I'm just asking, maybe the context of the question was different. I'm not a privy to this, and even you are not the privy to this.
I'm telling you, she works with me. So
I'm just trying to suggest maybe the context was different. Maybe the intention was to help her.
But she was driving home. She wasn't breaking the law.
No, I'm not saying.
Why are you stopping and asking a woman, even if she's driving late at night?
How do you know she was driving home?
Because she works with me, Renuka. I know, she told me. She's a bit shy.
Why should you worry when she's
Why ask her where she's going? Why she's out at midnight?
Suppose she was driving home.
One second, we're talking at the same time. One second.
Even if she was going to a boyfriend, if she was going to sleep over with somebody, so
what? She was we're all shouting. Renuka Chaudhary,
she was a prostitute on the streets. Why
yes, Renuka, let me ask Renuka Chaudhary.
Can I please complete what I want to say?
Yes.
I'm saying the policeman at the chalk who's checking into the cars doesn't know that the colleague is going home. He's well within his anxiety to say that, are you safe? That's the question he's primarily asking. Is there, because there are times, this has happened to me, where when you stop at a traffic light, a guy opened the left door and got in. And there's little you can do, and at that time if there's a policeman who's saying, yeah, and you have the right to escape and to have a, I know what I had to do that night.
But then this happens. Why should I don't know how asking such irrelevant questions middle of the night when you are rushing home or wherever you are going is going to help security of a woman.
She's saying there are checks.
No, but how is it going to debate? How many men do you ask this question when they are returning in the middle of the night?
Okay, so what is your suggestion?
No, how are you protecting a girl?
Let's use this time to get valuable inputs.
No, Renuka, how many men? Why should a woman be asked such questions?
Let us not stop women in the night.
Come on, now this has been very irrational.
Can we all
should we tell them that
please.
No, what is it we want? When we want public security and safety, what is it that we want? Tell them that.
Tell them that. One second. I want to ask you what suggestion. The point that Renuka Chaudhary made earlier is, okay, we want the police to take care of our safety, but how much responsibility lies with us?
I want to first narrate an incident, a conversation I had with a young woman lawyer who routinely has to deal with policemen in the High Court, which one would imagine is a safe space. She says, in the course of a sort of conversation, at some point or the other, the policeman is addressing her chest and not her. Now, I'm talking about a basic sensitization that has to happen within the police force. If that happens, a whole lot of these other things have to will be taken care of. And it's time that the Delhi police accepted it. There has to be, don't lay down guidelines, but do have a gender-based sensitization.
Yeah, but till then, what do we do?
Start with a sensitization.
Come on, you can't
right
be
now,
protecting a woman by asking her questions in the middle of the night, that where are you coming from and where are you going? How does that help?
I want to ask also about the measures that have also been announced. Let's look at the measures that the government has also announced. There was a big meeting that was held yesterday, Mr. Bhagat, and one of the things that was talked about was, well, there should be more PCR vans, which I think would be a given. I know the police has asked for it in the past. The Home Ministry has sort of dilly-dallied on that for a long time. Maybe they'll finally wake up to that. CCTVs in buses, more helplines for women. And there are some suggestions that Jairam Ramesh, Central Minister, has also made today about night buses for women and so on. But, you know, closing down bars and discotheques by 1 a.m., do you think that's a good idea? What is the connection?
Well, you see, some offences have taken place which could have been avoided had these precautions been taken. Now, the incidence of these can be stopped by having this, and it's the world over. It is like this.
No, I'll add.
You don't have to
this,
keep awake.
Yeah, I want to know the
no, just a minute, Luthra. Please let me finish.
Okay, let Mr. Bhagat finish.
Please let me finish.
Yeah, please.
Anyway, I've lost the train of thought. Carry on.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'll come back to you, Mr. Bhagat.
I would like to add something to what Mr. Bhagat said. You know, the decision to close discotheques or bar is directly related to their licensing conditions. And these licenses are issued under different acts by different authorities, not police. There is a Shop and Establishment Act. There is an Excise Act. So, licensing conditions have to be followed. It is a wrong interpretation that because of the women's safety, police is doing a knee-jerk reaction and closing down everything.
Because it's been announced as a measure.
No,
in relation to that.
We are following the licensing conditions. And there are different acts governing those licenses.
Which we didn't know existed 6 months ago.
Why not?
It happened suddenly after the Delhi raid.
No.
And has been announced as a measure after that, after the meeting with the Home Minister yesterday.
If these things might help, then you can interpret them in a different way. Of course not. Of course not. I am of the opinion that we should follow the license conditions.
Can I say something? I think it's important. At the moment, what is happening is short-term measures, knee-jerk reactions. Everything and anything is being tried out. I think what we need is to understand that there is systemic reform that we need. There is sensitization of police we need. There are systems to be put in place just by installing the camera in the buses and not ensuring that they should work. They should work. Who will ensure that after a year these cameras will work? Or after 6 months you will be able to see?
We slam the police.
These are the things we need to do.
We slam the police for inaction and doing nothing. when something goes wrong. And Mr. Bhagat, when, these might be seen as knee-jerk steps, but they are small steps, and therefore, do you think that they are important steps, no matter how small they are?
They are additives, yes.
Yeah, they are additives,
but systemic change
which is a long-term thing.
You see, and the basic is that how much are we spending apart from our establishment expenditures, like house rent, electricity, salaries, health, etc. No police force is spending more than 23 to 30% on everything, including research, training, equipment, which enhances their ability to police properly. And then basically another big fault which is existing is that there is no shift system. The gazetted officers work from 9 to 8 or 9 to 7.
Which is a larger issue of police reform. Yes.
So it is very important that the shift system should be brought in, and officers should also be on rotational duty, that is 24 hours of the day, or at least 16 hours of the day. So these are fundamental changes which have been recommended by the Police Commission. Not one, but many, multiple recommendations have been made. But do
we need to give these measures a chance before we condemn them? Is my question.
See, I'm just saying that we also have been asking for measures, namely in particular a kind of protocol for how the police is supposed to respond to a crime against women, and measures, punitive measures in case they don't. Okay, but I want to say one thing here, that it's why are we debating? The debate we had earlier really disturbed me. Why? Because I'm saying you have to, as a government, as a police, as institutions, we have to say we are here to safeguard women's unrestricted, unqualified access to public spaces. If we don't say this, then we are seeing women as less than citizens. If we rationalize any kind of, barriers, and you rationalize it by saying, oh, parents are worried, this, that, I don't think we can do that as public institutions. Okay, what we all
as a woman, I would never take a walk at 11 p.m.
Yes, but I'm saying no, we won't. That's another matter. I'm saying that's not. Why not? I'm saying that.
I wish I could.
But when
there are women who do.
Get off at railway station, bus stop, or you get off at airport, and you have to go home, you will go home, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you go back from work, you will walk up to wherever. I mean, the bus drops you at the main road.
I may go
you will walk
out.
So I think those are the issues that needs to be resolved.
No, I am talking about how much responsibility lies with the police for our safety, and how much responsibility lies with us for our safety. I'll give the last word to Rakshanda tonight. Do you think that these measures, whether it's more PCR vans, more CCTVs, I know that they're additives, as Mr. Bhagat rightly put it. Should we give them a chance and then build on from here?
Sure. Let's give them a chance. Let's take baby steps. Maybe the first one would be to take eve teasing seriously. Maybe that will be
eve teasing,
which is an awful Indian sort of expression.
Call it sexual harassment.
Call it whatever. Treat it with the seriousness it deserves. Treat every eve teasing case as a sexual offence, because if you do that, by the time you come to a rape or a gang rape, your officials would be sufficiently sensitized to deal with it.
And that's what I'm sure. Renuka Chaudhary, I just have 20 seconds. Yes, you had a point to make.
Yeah, I just wanted to tell the police that I think what Rakshanda said is right. There's no such thing as a coy eve teasing. It is a sexual offence. And open registries at every police station of sexual offenders, so that people who rent houses to them, people who give them jobs, at least their profile is known. I think it's very, very important that the sexual offenders don't have the anonymity that they work under. They should be exposed. So register for sexual offenders at every police station, and the minute he's convicted and he's out and he comes back, he has to report there.
Which is a proposal that the Home Ministry is looking at.
I'm also pleading with all of you, don't shoot down what they do, because you have to start somewhere. We have to start.
Okay, I'm going to leave it at that for now, but Mr. Luthra, I do promise you, I would urge you to please first go back, talk to the Southeast District Police and see how these posters came out, because I know it's come from there, we know it's come from there, that's where we got these posters from. So we would urge you to please avoid a communication gap within the force. Let's give the police a chance, but I think there are more fundamental issues that everyone's talked about that need to be looked at as well. Thank you to all of you for joining us tonight.